Good morning. I'm Carolyn Valley, CEO of Central Berkshire Habitat for Humanity, and I'm here with part of our Habitat team that will help you on your journey to becoming homeowners. Today's session is about 82 and 84 Robbins, our equitable homeownership selection process info session. Our phone number, if you have any questions after this process or after this webinar, is 413-442-3181, extension 2, and you'll reach Mark Sternloff. Mark, could you say hello?
Hi, like Carolyn just said, my name is Mark Sternloff. I'm the home buyer specialist here at Central Berkshire Habitat for Humanity, and my job is to help you get through the application process.
Great, thanks. So let's get started. So here's a beautiful picture of the house. We've had multiple open houses there. If you haven't had an opportunity to actually walk through the house and you would like to do so, you can reach out to Mark at the phone number that we just gave. And I think what we'll try to do is have that phone number running throughout the presentation in the chat box. So we expect that the house will be completed by October 2024 with an expected closing date of December to early January. That really is dependent on the person who is selected for this home and their ability to work with their lender on a closing date. One of the reasons you can see that there's still some work to be done on this house, and part of the Habitat program gives you an opportunity to have partnership hours so that you can be building your home and those of others so that you really feel a sense of being part of this home. Here's the floor plan or the exterior. These are 2-unit condominiums. And what a condominium means is that you own, together, you own your half of the building, which is your home, and the condominium association owns the land together. So you make together decisions about the land. And when you're doing your financial education, coaching, and meeting one-on-one, we can talk more about what does that look like. And these are the floor plans. They are identical inside. So each condo is 1,216 square foot. It is built for aging in place, which means it has a first floor bedroom and a bath, and a full bath on the second floor with the additional 2 bedrooms. It's an open concept kitchen, dining area, and living area so that you really have an opportunity to mingle with your family. The kitchen features Energy Star appliances, including stackable washer, dryer, and refrigerator, stove, and dishwasher, and the kitchen has a modern design. Both bathrooms and kitchens have Kohler fixtures, and level lower blinds are installed in energy-saving windows for bedrooms and baths. This home is a high efficiency home, so it heats and cools using mini splits. And each of the mini splits, you will be trained on how to use it. It has a remote control, but there's YouTube videos that we have that we share with you so that you know how to maintain them and how to get the most use out of your home with these high efficiency units. So we want to talk a little bit about what we've been seeing as what the cost is to rent in the Berkshires right now, especially in Pittsfield. So a typical 3-bedroom in Pittsfield right now, if you can find one, is $2,000 a month. So I don't know about you, but I don't know many renters that have not seen an increase year over year. But if you were to take that $2,000 a month that you're paying in rent by 12 months, in 1 year, you'll have paid your landlord $24,000. Now let's think even further. What would it be if you paid that same amount of money for 30 years? You would have paid $720,000 to your landlord. And again, that's assuming that your rent doesn't increase at all over 30 years. So that's sort of like digging a hole in your backyard and burying that money because you do not get any equity in that home at all. So let's talk about what ownership does for you. These particular ownership opportunities will have a monthly mortgage payment of plus or minus $1,200. And that includes your homeowners association, your principal, your interest, your insurance, your taxes. So if you were comparing it to renting today, you would be saving $800 a month over renting. So just like in that rental example, we're going to tell you for 12 months, that means you could save $9,600 a year. Now, if you're paying a different amount for rent, you can do the math there too. And if you multiply that by 30 years, that you will have saved $288,000. That's in addition to the equity that you have in your house from paying your mortgage each month. So home ownership equals wealth generation. We know that the majority of people, that's the biggest investment they've ever made in their lives. And it's the biggest return as long as you maintain your asset and it continues to grow in wealth, plus the amount of savings that you had over what you were paying in rent. So let's talk a little bit about eligibility. So here's an example. If it's a 3-bedroom home, we're looking for a sample household size of 4. Today's area median income in Pittsfield for 2024 is $112,500. And with these homes, we're targeting it to not exceed more than 80% of the area median income limit, which means you can make your total household income can make up to $90,000 and still qualify to purchase this home. And let's look at how that payment came to be. The home value, if you were to buy it on the open market, is $215,000. Habitat has special mortgage interest rates with some of our lenders that will give you 1% under whatever the current mortgage rate is today. So these rates have not been updated since the Fed reduced the interest rate. But this is a good example. Interest rates and whatnot change based on your lender, based on what is going on with the local economy. So Habitat is saying that we are going to give you a $75,000 subsidy to be able to purchase this home, and your mortgage amount will be $140,000. So that gives you a principal and interest of $794.90, real estate taxes, which are based on the purchase price, of $215.25. And with a potential homeowner association fees, which also include a replenishment account, so that in 30 years, if you need a new roof, there's money in that account to be able to pay for the roof, and homeowners insurance of $75 a month. So that's how we get to $1,200 a month in monthly expenses. So who can enter the equity homeownership selection process? These are total maximum allowable gross income limits per household size. So what I ask you to do is think about how many is in your household, and you're going to look across this graph. So we're going to, for the purpose of this presentation, we're going to talk about a family of 4. So if you look at a family of 4, you look underneath it and you say, okay, our whole family, all of our money coming in together cannot exceed $90,000. That does not mean that's the minimum that you can make in order to qualify. That's the maximum. Your minimum amount to qualify, you would work with Mark, your mortgage specialist, to show you on a different graph what the minimum amount is. And the household must be a first-time home buyer. And this is defined as not having owned a residential property for at least 3 prior years, including homes in a trust. Now, there's a slide that goes over what the exemptions are, and we'll go over that in detail. So let's talk about household assets. Assets are your checking, savings, CDs, if you have retirement, all of those things. So those total household assets cannot exceed $75,000. And the reason that they say that, that's a state mandatory number, is because they feel if you have $75,000 in cash assets, that you would be able to purchase a home conventionally without the help of a subsidized home. So what you're going to look at is the liquid requirement assets are counted. Individual retirement, 401k, and KEO accounts are included at 100% of the account value. The value of retirement and pension plans differ if you're employed or if you're no longer working. If you're still employed, the value is determined using the amount you can withdraw less any penalties or transaction costs. At retirement or termination of employment or withdrawn periodic receipts from the pension and retirement funds are counted as income. Lump sum receipts are counted as assets. Assets divested for less than their fair market value within the last 2 years will be counted at their full market value to determine eligibility. Detailed income and asset guidelines are available online at berkshirehabitat.org. And Mark is also happy to go over your statements so that he can help you if you're getting close to that limit. A big thing that we cannot stress enough is your application package must include a mortgage pre-approval. A mortgage pre-approval letter from a bank that is experienced with deed restricted properties. It can also be a credit union that is experienced with deed restricted properties. This is required to participate in this opportunity, and it must be in your file prior to the day of the drawing for this ownership opportunity. And non-household members cannot be co-signers on the loan. We cannot stress this enough. You should meet with your local lender as soon as possible. You can reach out to Mark and he can actually schedule an appointment with one of the lenders of your choice so that he can help with the transference of information. Mortgage guidelines. The pre-approval letter must be made by an institutional lender that is dated within 30 days of the opportunity. Has to have a fixed rate mortgage throughout the full term of the mortgage. Usually that is 30 years. And it's a current fair market interest rate. You cannot pay more than 2 points to get the interest rate down. Monthly housing inclusive of your principal, interest, property taxes, homeowners insurance, all the fees may not exceed 30% of your monthly income for the mortgage. And again, non-household members shall not be permitted as co-signers on the mortgage. Just so that you know, VA and FHA loans do not allow deed restricted units. And again, the mortgage must be from an institutional lender familiar with affordable deed restriction guidelines. And we're going to go over what those deed restrictions are. So I'm going to let Mark take over here and talk more about the eligibility. Take it away, Mark. You have to be unmuted.
I'm sorry about that. Hi. Hopefully somebody be moving this along for me, but we can start with the eligibility requirements. You have to use this property as your primary residence. You can't rent it out or lease it out to somebody else. Understand that there are deed restrictions on the property which affect the resale value, and this is so we can keep the house. If you decide at some point you want to sell the house, we can keep it in affordable area for the next owner. You must currently be living in substandard housing. The substandard housing can be, there are health or safety issues with where you're staying. It can be that it's temporary. It can be that it's too small for your family size. We can talk further about that kind of information about what constitutes substandard housing. You must complete the Habitat's financial education courses, and you have to actively participate in the coaching program. We do offer financial education courses. You are required to take those in full, but those do count towards your volunteer hours. And we can talk about that a little later. Related to that, you must commit to Habitat Partnership Hour Agreement. This means that you what's the word I'm looking for?
You help
required
build
to
your
work.
house and
I'm
others.
sorry. Yeah,
You help build your
required,
house and others.
Yeah, you're required to do. I think it's between 375 and 420 5 hours. And this does include work on finishing up your house. It can include helping work on other people's houses that are in the Habitat program. It can mean volunteering at the Restore and a whole host of other things. Again, I can give you more information when that time comes. Here it go. The application process. This is important. Let me underline this right now for the Robbins properties. Application deadline is October 31st, 2024 at 4 p.m. That's the cutoff date. We won't be able to accept any applications any later than that. If you have given us application stuff and it's not quite finished, you need to get all that information to us by October 31st. That's why I recommend highly that if you're interested, you apply as soon as possible so we can make sure we have your full application packet ready to go as of the 31st. There that is. Now, who are the players? There's Central Habitat Berkshire for Humanity. We are selling the house. We will be represented by our own attorneys. It's Kane and Hibbard. And there's you, the buyer. You will be represented by an attorney for the closing as well. You can either use your own attorney or we can provide one for you. And the other entity involved is your lender. Again, this must be a lender that's knowledgeable about doing deed restricted properties for Habitat. And again, you can either use your own lender or we can suggest lenders to you. Okay, what the application has to have. The application's got to be completed with all supporting documents. When you come pick up an application at the Berkshire Habitat office, or if you pick up any of the application packets we have around the city, library, town hall, Hearthway, maybe other places where you can pick up the packets, you need to go through that. There are instructions there about how to get everything together. It's important that you sign the forms that are enclosed. That includes an affidavit and disclosure form, mandatory financial information, and the mortgage pre-approval letter, which you will get from your lender. Incomplete applications will be returned until the due date, and this means if we don't get your information or if you decide against it, we can return that information up until October 31st. After that, we do need to retain that for our records. And again, due to the interest for these properties, we highly recommend you get your application and supporting documents in as soon as possible. Understand that we are here to help you. Habitat staff and the community navigators are available to help. We can help you with any language problems or help you get information collected. But again, you should start this as soon as possible. The mandatory financial information we're looking for, number one, is tax returns. We need the last 3 years of your federal tax returns. That includes everything that was submitted to the IRS. If you did any like a Schedule C or any other forms, and it's not included in your application, we'll have to consider that incomplete. So everything you use to file, we'll need a copy of that. Now, if you don't have a copy of your federal tax returns, you can obtain transcripts using the Form 5406T, which you can go get at the IRS website, which is irs.gov. If you haven't filed any tax returns for any of the years, you must provide a letter from IRS saying that your non-filing of your tax returns is legitimate. Say you didn't basically make the threshold in income to file. Again, you can request that form at the IRS website. Number two, income verification. And there's a checklist here, and you will, when you pick up your application or you have your application packet, there will be a letter that describes the process. The second page of that letter is a handy checklist for all this information that we'll need. And this includes 5 consecutive pay stubs for all jobs, for anybody who is in the household, husband, wife, children that are working. We'll need all that information to determine your income, W-2, and in case you have them 1099-R forms for the past 3 years, that would be included with your tax return information. If you're self-employed, we need last 12 months of income and expense reports, any information about child support or alimony payments. And that should include a letter of award you got from the court and a proof of receipt of those funds. Any benefits you receive, Social Security, SSI, SSDI, VA, for example, we need, they should be providing you with a letter every year saying what your benefits are. We will need the copy of that letter from those agencies. If you've received any workers' comp, unemployment, severance amounts, those are included. If you're receiving any retirement income, including pensions, 1099, the 401k, annuities, that kind of thing. And this is important too. If there's a friend or family member that wants to contribute money to you in order to buy the property, we'll need a gift letter. Otherwise, the money they provide will be counted as income, and it's possible that could push you out of eligibility. So it's important if you're getting funds from somebody, that includes a gift letter. We need, as a note, we need 5 consecutive pay stubs, and that's whether you're paid weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. And if you have a source of income that's not listed, you will need to include documentation showing that. It's very important that you provide us with all the information that you have for your income, so you make sure that you do qualify. Generally speaking, we have more people who are underqualified, so we want to make sure we have all your income information to make sure that we can go forward. Number 3 is asset verification. And this is basically your checking accounts, savings accounts, money markets, CDs, 401ks, all of that. We'll need 3 consecutive full statements, front and back, for all those accounts. Again, for checking, also for savings, checking, money market, all that. Last 3 months of full statements. If you have any mutual funds or stocks, we need a current statement from that. If you have cash deposits or non-payroll or income deposits coming to you, you must identify where those funds are coming from. If you, I mentioned before, if you fail to explain where this income comes from, this may push you over the income limit. Yeah, so this is important. This is not a running transaction list or screenshots from your account. We must receive the actual individual statements that we receive from those accounts. Number 4, other information that we may require if you're divorced or separated or in the process of getting divorced, separated. We will need the legal documentation showing the divorce or separation has begun or has been finalized. This is to make sure, that your income is yours. If you're able to provide this information, both parties' income and assets will be used determining eligibility. Again, that may push you over the limit. Okay, the mandatory financial information. If you have a reasonable accommodation, if you are handicapped or some other accommodation must be made, for your housing. The documentation of this must be included with your application, include doctor's letters, that kind of thing. We need to have that up front. If you're expecting more in your family, this will be counted towards your household size. It will just need documentation showing that you're expecting a letter from the doctor or something like that. Student status, any member of the household who's a student, and this is, dependents over the age of 18 and full-time students. This means, any high school or college students, we need information showing their status, full-time, part-time, for current and next semester. You'll notice in the packet there are forms to sign, affidavit and disclosure forms. First one being says that we understand and agree to the following conditions and guidelines regarding the distribution of affordable homes. And this includes the 2024 area median income numbers, limiting you at 80% with the household size. Like we said before, as an example, a family of 4 cannot earn more than $90,000 per year. And this includes all family members that are making an income. Because these numbers change every year, income limits are subject to change when those numbers get updated by Housing and Urban Development. Number 2 is we have not individually or jointly owned a single family home, townhome, condo, or co-op within the past 3 years, including homes in trust. This is to make sure that you are eligible as a first-time home buyer. There are exceptions. The following exceptions apply: displaced homemakers, if you owned a home with a spouse or partner, that partnership has dissolved. If you were the homemaker, if you were basically at home for the duration of that ownership, then that exception to first-time homebuyers applies. If you were a single parent who owned a house along with another partner, and you're a single parent again, that counts. Households. Yeah, if you're over the age of 55, that is also a exception. If you owned like a trailer or a prefab home that was not permanently affixed to a foundation, that counts as an exemption. And if you owned a property that was not in compliance with state, local, or model building codes that cannot be brought into compliance for less than the cost of construction of a permanent structure, it's basically if you owned a mobile home on a plot of land that you can't build on. That is also an exception. If you owned a home that has any of these exceptions apply, that home must be sold prior to closing on your Habitat home. And number 3 is we certify total household assets do not exceed $75,000, and understand that as guidelines will be provided if you're chosen to purchase the home. This is just to make sure that as Carolyn said earlier, your assets don't go above $75,000. Otherwise, you would not be eligible for assist in purchasing home. Household size is listed on application form, and that includes everybody that will be living in the house: husband, wife, children, any other family members, or anyone else who will be living with you. Number 5, we understand that being selected in the homeownership selection process does not guarantee that we will be able to purchase a home. You understand that all application data will be verified, and additional financial information may be required to purchase the home. This is one of the reasons why it's really important for you to get your application in as soon as possible. That gives us the ability to go through your financial information, other information that we receive from you, to make sure that we have the full application packet. And number 6 is you authorize Berkshire Habitat to verify any and all your assets, income, and other financial information. This is so we can verify your income, verify your savings, and verify your employment. And we'll also be verifying your current living situation with your landlord. We are a monitoring agent, so we do have permission to process your application for eligibility and require all this information from your landlord, employer, and bank or federal credit union. Number 7, you understand that you may be selected and offered a specific home. You will have the option to accept that home or reject that home. If you do reject the home, you will be moved to the bottom of the waiting list, and you may not have an opportunity to purchase a home from Habitat at this time. Although we will keep you in our process, and hopefully down the road, we will be able to provide you housing. You're choosing homeowners for multiple homes at this time, so this is why we're doing the home selection process. If the home is not right for you, you can always make the choice to buy it or not. Number 8, program requirements are established by Mass Housing, HUD, and the host community. You agree to be bound by program changes which may be imposed at any time throughout the process. If any program conflicts arise, you agree that any determination made by the monitoring agent, which is Habitat, is final. This means Habitat does not make all the rules as the monitoring agent, but if any changes are made during the process, we'll all have to follow them. And number 9 is that you certify that no member of your family has a financial interest in the project. I mean, basically, nobody in your family is related to or directly working with the construction end of it, and that you are not receiving any basically employment by Habitat 2 is included in that, I do believe. Okay, number 10 is you agree to deed restrictions on the home and acknowledge that and we recommend you consult an attorney about the deed restrictions. A sample deed restriction is included in your application packet, so you can look that over. And this is also to certify that all the information we get from you is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief under full penalty of perjury. You understand that you do not want to give us any false information, because that will result in disqualification for any further consideration. So basically, if you exaggerate or provide us with any information that's not true, you would not be able to qualify for a Habitat home from us going forward. And this means that you understand that the property has a deed restriction, and that you definitely will want to talk to an attorney about that. And the second part meaning that you agree that everything on your application is true. Applications are available online or in person. You can stop by the Habitat office here at 314 Columbus Avenue. You can pick up application packet up at the Berkshire Athenaeum, Pittsfield City Hall, and at Hearthway. Hearthway is at 1 Fenn Street. Submitting applications, you can mail it to Central Berkshire Habitat for Humanity, PO Box 2717 in Pittsfield, and make that attention 82 and 84 Robbins Avenue, Homeownership, or you can drop it off in person at Central Berkshire Habitat for Humanity at 314 Columbus Avenue. We're open every day from 8:30 to 4:30. If you need to drop it off later than that, we can make accommodations to have somebody meet you. You do not want to send anything electronically because we want to keep your financial information, especially. We want to make sure that it's secure. You want to take
Mark,
over?
I'm gonna take over on this one.
Okay,
So
great.
let's talk a little bit about how it all works. So, whoops, what just happened? All right, so the applications are going to be available until Wednesday, October 30th at 4 p.m. Incomplete applications will not be returned after Friday, October 25th. Applications are due in full, everything completed by October 31st at 4 p.m. Only complete applications of eligible applicants will be entered into the homeownership selection process. Eligible applications will be assigned a homeownership selection process number. You will get a copy of that number so that when we are having the actual selection, which will be broadcast on Facebook Live, and you're welcome to come to the office on November 15th to watch it live if you would like. Winners will be notified immediately. Be sure to keep your contact information updated. So if you change your cell phone or your email, please make sure that you send us an email at homes@berkshirehabitat.org so that we have your most available information, because that's how we'll contact you. All approved applications in the homeownership selection process will be assigned a homeownership selection process code. All qualified applicants provided a homeownership selection process code will be selected at the time of the homeownership selection process. The order of selection will establish the initial rankings. The units will be distributed to the highest ranked household that meets the unit size preference, as stated on the next slide. If all 3-bedroom applicants have been offered the unit and they choose not to purchase or declined, we will then begin offering the unit to households requiring 2 bedrooms based on their selection process, and then 1-bedroom units. Timeframes. If you're selected in the homeownership selection process and have the opportunity to purchase a home first, you will speak with or meet with a homeownership selection agent, that's Habitat, to review your application, financial submissions, and to verify all provided information. Please be advised, it is likely additional financial information will be required and verified prior to home selection. That is usually done by your lender. Financial submissions are verified again prior to closing on the home. So if there's a longer time period of more than a month or so, then we'll have to re-verify information. If you were determined ineligible at that time, you will not be able to purchase this home, but you will still be given an opportunity to stay in the Habitat program for future purchases. These are preferences based upon household size. Preference will be given to households that require 3 bedrooms over households requiring 1 or 2 bedrooms. Second preference will be given to households requiring 2 bedrooms, and final preference to households requiring 1 bedroom if preferences for home ownership are based on the following. There's at least 1 occupant per bedroom. A husband and wife or those living in similar living arrangements shall be required to share a bedroom. Other household members may share, but shall not be required to share a bedroom. A person described in the first sentence of number 2 shall not be required to share a bedroom if a consequence of sharing would be a severe adverse impact on his or her mental or physical health, and the homeownership selection process agent receives reliable medical documentation as to such impact of sharing. A household may count an unborn child as a household member, and the household must submit proof of pregnancy with the application. If the applicant is in the process of a divorce or separation, the applicant must provide proof that the divorce or separation has begun or has been finalized as set forth in the application. So now let's talk about deed restrictions, things to know about reselling the house. There are deed restrictions that control the future sales price and sales process of the homes to ensure that they stay affordable for future buyers. Why? Communities worry about future affordability and have helped make this opportunity available for you and also future generations of homeowners. If you are selected and have the opportunity to purchase, at closing, you will sign a deed rider, which requires you to live in the home, ensures affordability for future homebuyers, and requires prior approval from the town and Habitat for capital improvements and refinancing. Resale. If or when you choose to sell your affordable home, you will need to notify the city and Habitat for Humanity, and we will determine the allowable sales price and outline the sales process you must adhere to. The maximum resale price is determined by using a resale price multiplier, which is a figure that's calculated by taking your initial sales price and dividing it by the HUD area median income at the time that you are looking to sell. Upon resale, the resale price multiplier is multiplied by the updated area median income number to determine the maximum sales price. We have an example. For example, if the initial purchase price that you bought the house for is $140,000, and the current area median income for a family of four at 80% today is $90,000, the resale price multiplier would be $140,000 divided by the area median income, and the resale factor would be 1.56. So say 5 years from now, you decide to sell, and the median income at that time is $94,500. The sales price would be the $94,500 times the 1.56 multiplier, which would give you a sales price of $147,420. That would be in addition to the money you saved on renting and what you paid down on your mortgage. Added to your sales price is a 2% resale fee that will be paid to the resale agent. All selected applicants are urged to review the deed rider with your own attorney. There are deed restrictions which control the future sales price and sales process of the homes to ensure they stay affordable. Deed restrictions are used to ensure the homes are affordable for future buyers. And if you are selected and have the opportunity to purchase, at closing, you will sign the deed rider, which requires you to live in the home, ensures affordability for future homebuyers, and requires prior approval from the monitoring agent for capital improvements and refinancing. And when you meet with our folks, we'll give you some examples of that. So let's talk about where to find help. For questions specific to this process, you would reach out to Habitat. Mark Sternloff at homes@berkshirehabitat.org, or his direct phone line is 413-442-3181, extension 2. Then we have 3 additional bank financing options: Adams Community Bank, Jacob Dombrowski, Evan Collins from Lee Bank, and Mila Frankham from Greylock Federal Credit Union. It is very, very important that when you reach out to these folks, that you tell them you are purchasing a Habitat home, as they have special Habitat guidelines that will benefit you as a home buyer. The attorney, Tom Hamill, has been doing for free legal representation for buyers for Habitat homeowners for over 10 years. He's very experienced, and he does this because he believes in giving people an opportunity to purchase homes that otherwise might not be able to. But you are able to purchase a home, use an attorney of your own choice. But the folks at Tom Hamill's office will be free for you. So if you have any questions after this presentation, you can email us at homes@berkshirehabitat.org. You can call Mark at 413-442-3181, extension 2. You can stop in the office. We do ask that you call in advance to let us know that you're coming in case there's already an appointment there in order to minimize your wait. We can do evening appointments if necessary. We do everything in our power to be able to make it easy for you to apply. We also have Spanish-speaking navigators that will be able to help you with this opportunity. And I'm going to turn it over to Jessica for her to give you her contact information. Can you join us, Jessica?
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica Vega. I work as a community navigator. I am bilingual, I speak English and Spanish. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach to us anytime. Mi nombre es Jessica Vega, soy navegadora comunitaria, hablo inglés y español. Si ustedes tienen alguna pregunta acerca de cómo es el proceso de las casas, por favor, comuníquense con nosotros vía email, teléfono, visítenos aquí en la oficina. Mi número de teléfono es el 413-741-0239.
So thank you very much for watching this. It still probably has a lot of questions. It's normal. This is a big, big opportunity, but it is also a big thing for people to decide to buy a home. And we are, as your Habitat team, are happy to help you in any way that we can, both in this opportunity and any future opportunities. So please look at us as a resource, as part of your team to get you on the journey to homeownership. And we thank you for watching and have a great day.